Hello, everybody. This is my first time doing a commentary because this is the first time I've got a clear that I think is worth it, and that is for Dodonpachi DOJ Black Label. So, a little bit of the history for this game. I believe the first time I played it was maybe on PS2. Actually, there's a PS2 port. That's pretty good. I think that might have been the first time I played it. Of course, I didn't last long playing it on PS2. Switched to MAME fairly quickly. But you know, that was probably back in 2007 maybe time frame, 2006 actually. So you know, I've been playing this game a long time, and to be honest with you, I never thought the clear was possible for me. I thought this is just, you know, one of those games that was too tough. So to actually do it is I'm just real stoked about it, super excited. Pretty good run. To be honest, you know, it only took me about a week. So not that long, but I have been playing it, you know, for all these years. So in the grand scheme of things, you know, actually focusing a week on it and getting the clear is pretty good. But as you can see, I don't really know how to chain at all. And you know, that ties into your scoring. For scoring, I just want the two extends you get. And most of my runs this week, actually, you know, I was dying in stage 5 because I was I didn't get the second extend. So I needed to score better, and one of the things was I needed to hyper more, right? So I should have hypered right at the start of this boss, which I didn't. And here I remembered right there to finally do it. That was just because out of habit, because you can get a little bit of score here with your hyper, getting all those hits. But you know, as I decided, whatever, might as well keep playing because I had some good runs going. I just knew I needed to stay alive was the most important thing, because I think I'd get that second extend anyways. So tying into that, you know, on this stage I used to never hyper either, because the theory there is when you hyper, you raise your rank. So all my life I've been playing real safe and only hypering when I needed to. So that means I never hypered in stage 1 or 2 at all. But yeah, since I wasn't getting that second extend, I needed to score better, be more aggressive in the earlier stages. So that's a new strat right there. Is hypering a bunch on level 2 here. My timing is a little off because I forgot to hyper on the first boss, but I think that balanced itself out alright. But yeah, this is a classic stage 2. Seems pretty reminiscent of original Dodonpachi stage 2. But it's a pretty good time all around, not too hard. Has this mini boss here that's really easy. It's one of the differences with Ketsuri actually, is its second stage mini boss can get you sometimes, and thankfully this guy goes down super easy. But yeah, I needed a hyper right here for score, because you can get great score on this part of stage 2. And it looks like I forgot. Again, you know, I just was playing out of habit and more out of survival. So maybe that's why my high score in this run isn't as good as some other ones that didn't get the clear. So that's, you know, a little disappointing that your clear isn't your highest score. But, you know, I'll take the clear any day of the week. So yeah, it looks like I forgot to hyper that. I just came to that realization actually. Forgot to hyper that. That's a great scoring spot right there. So I totally biffed that. But who knows? Maybe it helped my rank. Not so bad. I don't know. But got the clear out of matters. So this boss, he's a pretty easy boss. You don't have to worry about him too much. You can cheese him super easily, and that's been my strat, just to keep me, moving along. Um, I don't need this bomb here, but it looks like actually I got a hyper instead of the bomb. But I use my bomb anyways because I really don't need it. I'll pick up one in stage 3, so that's why I bombed that. But pretty easy boss. He goes down. He rarely gets you. Maybe a couple times, but he's usually not a problem at all. So now we're into stage 3, and yeah, I love this stage. Uh, maybe one of my favorite stages of all time, right up there with Mushihime-sama's Futari's stage 5. Uh, just great setting, great music, and just really well routed. This is just one that I've got it so well routed now that I just have to go through the flow of the stage. I know exactly what I need to do at every moment, and it goes exactly as predicted. Which is one reason why, the debate between DOJ and Ketsui. Ketsui is so much more dynamic. I feel like you're constantly dodging patterns you've never dodged before. But while DOJ on the other hand is you can get better control of it. You know what to expect more, so just the routing of it's better. But yeah, it especially shows off in this stage. You got this mini boss here. He's not too bad. Goes down pretty easy. I usually hyper. Again, it looks like my hypering is all off on this on this run for some reason. Just a little bit. I forget to hyper sometimes, but I hypered there at the end, hoping to get that hyper when I really need it later on in the stage. There's one critical power spot that you need a hyper, so it looks like I already got a hyper, so that's good. In this part right here, it took a little bit of learning, but it's very manageable once you figure it out. You really don't have any problems, because you just know what to expect. I like to use the hyper here because you can get the hyper later on again when you to cheese a section that's needed, so that's really important. But yeah, this part's really fun. You got your hyper going, getting that chain up if you can. But yeah, it really kind of shows off how fun this stage is. So yeah, this hyper right here is so important because this guy comes at you fast and hard, and you need to get rid of him as soon as possible. In this section right here, used to trip me up a bit, but I learned how to do it. You want to stay to the left, get all those enemies while you come to your right. In this part too, when you got your hyper, it definitely makes it easier to get that. So yeah, going into stage 3 boss with 3 lives, maximum bombs. So doing as good as you can. Maybe the score isn't as good as you would have hoped, but that's alright. You just want that second extend. So this guy, the Beetle Bailey pattern right there, got me. That's what I call it, the Beetle Bailey pattern. That will get you every now and then. It's a risk. Usually I take the risk, so sometimes runs will end there. But you know what? I said, whatever. I know what I'm doing. You get tripped up every now and then, but you can make up for it later. So I wasn't too worried. And if all things, it kind of calms you down a little bit, actually. Because, you don't have the most optimum scenario. So this part's pretty tough here at the end. Kind of have to hope and pray a little bit, but you can usually get it done. No worries. So yeah, I would call this an average run so far. My scoring, I've forgot some hypers in some spots. And yeah, definitely died there on that stage 3 boss. But stage 4, so this is where I usually like to hype myself up. So I usually say, this is my stage. I got this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Because I know I can do this stage without dying. I know I can. But you need a lot of things to go right for that to happen. So this beginning section, of course. It's pretty tough because you got these two turrets on both sides, and you're just trying to get those out of your way as quickly as possible. Sometimes I have to hyper here, but I'd rather not. I'd rather keep that hyper, and I believe I do in this particular run, but I'll get some close calls here for sure. You know, right there is a close call. Yeah. And these guys can be annoying. They will sometimes come out of nowhere, but all right. And now this part, you're just taking it in before an assault. You got these tanks on the rails coming at you. So this part I used to panic a bunch, and I think by now I figured it out. You know, if I get lucky, like right there, I get lucky, do some risky maneuvers, but I know what I have to do. I'm trying to get rid of these tanks on the rails, and trying to get those airplanes that are coming at you at the same time. So I use a hyper right here, which is usually pretty good, but the bullets are coming at you faster. So you could get tripped up, but looks like I had a good rail section there. And going in this section is really tough too. This is another part where I've had some deaths in. That's why I bomb. And in actuality, you don't really need that bomb because you're going into the 1-up section where you can't bomb for the 1-up. So usually I like to go into the section with no bomb, which is exactly what I did. And I picked up the hyper there, which is super important too. So here's the 1-up part. So this part's really important for a run to get anywhere. You really need this 1-up. So getting the sides cleared out before getting the main part cleared out. So I just barely got it. But pretty excited about that. Get the 1-up, and I got my hyper going into the zipper section. So again, this zipper section was another place that would trip me up in the beginning. Had to figure it out. And I think I have a great zipper section here. I don't think I have any problems with it, but you know, that took a while to kind of realize what you need to do on this section. I kind of hang more back on this one. I was playing a little scared. Usually I'm kind of more up there, but it actually worked in my favor, dodging out of those pink patterns that are kind of tough. So yeah, I get to this beam section, doing great. This section will trip you up for sure, so that's why I use that hyper to get that, because those popcorn enemies go out of control there if you don't. So yeah, it's important to do that. So yeah, going into the stage 4 boss, feeling pretty good. 3 lives, 1 bomb, ending a hyper here. But yeah, stage 4 is really top tier stage too. Its music and background's probably not as good as stage 3, so maybe not as good as stage 3, but cool boss here as well. I have one of the best first phases ever. You know, I'm doing a really good job here dodging. Usually I'm not as proficient on that first stage or phase. But going into phase 2, you know, I like having no bomb here, so I can be a little risky, don't have to worry too much about it. It looks like a problem here is I get the full circle of laser turrets, which you don't want, so I try to hyper there to get rid of them, and then I got tripped up right there, which kind of stinks, but you know, it is what it is. This boss is pretty tough, and I played him pretty well, all things considering. But you know, I've gone into stage 5 with better things going on, but I think since I practiced stage 5 here, I think that really helped me out. Because yeah, I was losing a lot of runs right here in stage 5. So this first section isn't too bad, but again, if you're not prepared, it will get you. It comes at you fast. If you kind of know what you're doing, what you're aiming at, you can take care of this first section without any worries. And you usually have a hyper here too, just in case. I try not to use it as much as I can. But yeah, this section's pretty tough, but doable. So I will say, I switched the lever on my arcade stick here. I was using a Sanwa all these years, but I switched to a Sametsuo LS56. So I think that really helped out. But quick here, here's the first original Dodonpachi boss that makes an appearance here on stage 5. There's a couple of them. But he went down easy. I used a hyper. He's got some pretty scary lasers. But I realized you could take him down really fast with a hyper, so that was my strat. But then I go into the B area here, which is one of the tougher sections for sure. And surprisingly, I have a good B area. As you can see, I have 0 bombs, which I like to do entering the B area, because I can be a little more risky. I don't have to worry about dying and losing some bombs. So, I'm just trying to fight for my life as best as I can, last as long as I can. And I ended up having a pretty good B section. But a death here, that'll happen. I'll take a death on the B section, especially going in with 0 bombs. But yeah, the LS56 lever on my arcade stick, I think that really helped me out to get this clear. It's better than the Sanwa. But here's another repeat boss from original Dodonpachi, or a version of it. This part never really is an issue. You can always usually go into here pretty confidently. Got this section right there. It can be a little sus, but got it of course there. And this part's really tough actually. You can definitely get hit here, and I do a pretty good job of doing some dodging there. And then here's the last mini boss from the original Dodonpachi, the fire guy. The first time I got to the final boss, this guy actually took me out with some remnants of those fireballs. I thought I'd killed him, but so I'm aware of that now. So usually he can go down pretty easily, but he can get you every now and then. But yeah, heading into the last section here, I think this is where my practice really paid off. Kind of knowing what's important, and just getting lucky with my hypers as well. But as you can see, you got these enemies that shooting barrage of bullets at you, and always important to get those killed as quickly as you can. One difference here is usually those would cancel the bullets, but here they don't. They don't cancel any bullets when you kill them. So they're pretty tough enemies. As you can see here, there's some more barrage bullets that you have to worry out for. But I take it all very calmly here. But I died there. I was really hoping I was actually closer to the end than I was, but so that was kind of defeating a bit. I could have made better use of that life for sure. But yeah, heading into home stretch here, these tough tanks, I think I get a good dodge. Usually I don't always get that for sure. That one's a tough spot for sure, but I planned that out pretty well. I had to after that last death. Had to be pretty diligent in these last section trying to make sure I have enough resources for the last boss. As you can see, I bombed there because I wasn't having it. I didn't want to have a silly death right before, so I used that one bomb. I probably could have kept it, but yeah, going into the last boss here, ideal scenario. I got 2 lives, 1 bomb. Use that 1 bomb at the start there because the start's real tough. But this is how I did it in practice. So I know I can do it if I just get real good dodges here. And I think I do this section pretty well. Pretty toughy. And then you got this one as well. That will definitely get you. And I think I really luck out on it actually. I usually don't think I have that good of ones, but have to because I have no bombs. But it does trip me up. Of course, that was kind of inevitable. This part's, I'll tell you what, right here, that can get you every now and then. You can usually scrape by, and I just scrape by there. But going into the last pattern, I practiced this just to make sure, and I got lucky there. That cancel. I don't know what causes that, but got lucky with that cancel, which lets me do the final bomb. And if I would have died there, that would have been something. I would have really cried. I actually didn't have any problems with the final boss too much. He's very manageable, unlike some other cave titles. So I only had to face him 4 or 5 times before, I finally got the clear. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's my clear of Dodonpachi DOJ. Pretty great game. It's an all timer, and that's why I'm so happy to finally get a clear on it. As I've been saying, playing since 2006, 2007, and I never took it too seriously. I think I'd gotten to stage 5 once or twice before this past week, so that kind of gives you a clue of just how unfamiliar I was. I'd played it a bunch, but just in spurts, so never took it too seriously. Always thought I was out of reach, but glad to get it. Again, the score isn't my highest score ever, but no worries. As far as playing this game in the future, I'm excited for the M2 shot trigger release coming up here, so definitely will have to spend some time on that. Hopefully get another clear there so I can enter the leaderboards, so it'd be fun. But yeah, that's the one all. Thanks for joining me.